class. We're going to have an art class all week long. All right. Here goes. What you're going to do is create a JPEG 7632 wide by 6480 high is what I mean to say. So 6480 high and 7632 wide. Okay? And now, the first thing you're going to do is pick up a color. I assume you're in Adobe, but you don't have to be. You could be in any of the drawing or painting programs. So go over to your palette and pick a color. Now, later on, I'm going to have you go over to the palette and make a color. I don't know if you have any idea how to do that, but it's not that hard. So now you're just going to pick a color. You have about 60 colors to choose from. All right, so pick a color. Before you pick the color, actually, why don't you do this? First of all, click the thing that, it's in a window, right? So click it so it comes off a window and is full screen. That's that middle thing up on the right-hand side. There's a little tiny thing that makes it go away. There's an X that makes it go away completely. There's a thing that makes it go bigger, smaller. Stuff. The one you want is the one that makes it go bigger and smaller. You want it to be full screen, so that's all you see is this image on there, right? Because that's all you're going to be dealing with at this time. Bring it up pretty big so that it almost fills the screen. It's going to be a rectangle that's a little bit wider than it is high. Right? 7632 wide and 6480 high, so it's a little bit less high than wide. Yes? Okay. A sales wrap from what I gave you there. Not about fashion, but about cloaking. Do you understand what I'm saying? So one of your efforts will be to sell one of these things at some point at the end of the week, or to try to sell one of these. But anyway, what you're going to do, I left you with this paint can. So you got the paint can, and you squeeze some paint on there. There's a color, right? Now you go over to your pencils. You know where your pencil is? They gave you the pencil. Okay, pencil, and you're going to pick the 30. There's a 30 or 35, I think it is. 35. Then there's a 60 or 65. Then there's a 100, 200, and 300. Those are size diameters, right? 35 is the size you want. It's going to be pretty small. And you're not going to be able to see the point too easily. All right. Now, you're going to draw with that on your field. Okay? If you want to fill in anything, use your bucket to fill. So that's your only tools at this time, is your pencil and your bucket, your paint bucket. Then you're going to save it as a JPEG. Then you're going to upload it onto Redbubble as a new work. So it says upload. It says something like new work. Bring in a new work. Yeah, go ahead, bring in a new work. Put it in there. Now you'll see when it comes through, you're going to have to physically click enable on two places. One of those places you'll have to click enable is going to be on the printed T-shirts. You have to, otherwise it won't do it. And the other is on the note cards and stickers and stuff. You have to enable that as well. Anything else that is not enabled, it means you did something wrong. If you see a lot of stuff that's not enabled, it's disabled, you didn't do the right dimensions. Something's wrong about what you did. You got the things backwards or wrong or sideways or whatever, something wrong. Okay? Now that is, then you're going to see how it wraps. And the very first thing you do is go to the A-line dress, because that'll tell you whether it's going to wrap properly or not, and whether your side panels are covered or not covered and so forth. There'll be a big white stripe on the sides if it's not covered properly. Okay? All right. That is your, and I'll give you another exercise tomorrow. I'll give you a special exercise tomorrow as an art project. But you have to have at least one of these up online already before I do that. You need to have one up there, just the experience of doing one of these the way I told you to do it. And also beware of the color white in fashion. Beware, be careful when you're using white. It's very, very explosive. It's very piercing and explosive. It's deadly unless you know how to use white. Don't use white. All right, you guys, we'll see you at 4 o'clock this afternoon.